Hello and welcome to episode 127, Patience versus Action. These are not exclusive. They work together actually, patience and action. First thing to think about is what is the big picture? How does this action fit into my long-term goal? My name is Vierheller and I'll be your host for what we call the Substance of Living podcast. Today we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. Actually, I learned that from Mori-san, who is Japan's first astronaut. He learned this from NASA. He learned two steps, the big picture and what's next. The big picture is a long-term goal. For example, he went on 2 space shuttle missions. The big picture was successful launching, completion of the entire mission and returning safely. That was the big picture. He was responsible for conducting experiments and for maintaining the shuttle on his second flight. The idea is each flight had a big picture, and then he understood what his contribution was to that big picture. So it's important to have an idea of what's the big picture, what is it I need to do? So now you need to look at what is it I need to do, and that takes patience, because sometimes your perspective is only just one perspective. It's always wise to get a different opinion, a different perspective, and determine what it is that you want to accomplish, the big picture. Now you deal with what's next. Okay, I'm here, I'm going to take this step and this step. Now, in order to determine what your steps are, determine first what your long-term goal, that big picture is, and backward chain or backcast to where you are now. So here's the goal, the objective, the target. What do I do immediately before that? What's a step before that, before that, before that, to the present? This can help set a path for you. Nothing goes as planned. So be prepared for things to deviate, and you'll have to adjust and adapt. That's life. But it's important to know where you fit in the big picture. Determine deadlines. Now, many times when I'm teaching a seminar, I'll say, who likes deadlines? And nobody raises their hand. And I say, well, I love deadlines. People are, And I'll tell them, well, deadlines help me be successful. Deadlines tell me what I need to do by a particular time. That helps me be successful. And I suggest to them in their emails, if they're requesting information, give a deadline, but make the deadline sooner than your real deadline, because nothing goes as planned. Maybe their computer goes on the fritz, or they have maybe they get sick and they're unable to send you the email. You have that cushion of time. Same thing is true when you want to ask for that information before your deadline, well before your deadline. Now, if you're going to promise something later than you think you can actually deliver. So if I have to write a speech, I'll say, okay, for example, okay, I think I can get this to you by Friday, 5 p.m. Now, in reality, I think I can make it by Wednesday. But I'm giving myself a cushion, just in case. So that's why deadlines are important. Deadlines also mean commitment. It's a promise. I will do this by this day and time. So you've got patience, figuring out your deadline, figuring out the big picture, figuring out backcasting. That's very important. Once you've got the commitment, once you understand the deadlines, then you can take appropriate action. And that should be not just how you see it, but also how other people see it as well within the organization, or within the project, or within the team. Benefit by learning how others see this. And that's also part of what we call checking reality. Checking reality. Finding out what is it that they see that maybe I don't. And that can help you get a better perspective, a wider range of ideas about what you had only this portion of by yourself. So patience versus action? No. Patience, then good, appropriate action. I wish you the best of success in you taking action. Thanks. Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or connect on Twitter. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.